Greetings comic book fans, I'm Jason and welcome to my comic book reviews for the 4th week of May 2015. We've got, I think it's 13 books to review this week. So I'm going to start off, we're going to go Indies, then we're going to go DC, which was the final week of Convergence. And we're then going to get into Marvel, which are a lot of Secret Wars tie-ins this week. And then it'll be pick of the week, and we'll close this bad boy down with company of the week. So without further ado, let's get to those reviews. So this week Indies, we just have 3 indie books to review. First up, we're going to go with Image, and it is Invisible Republic issue number 3. And this book has continued being a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this. Fun might be the wrong word, but I am enjoying the series. So in the present day, we've got Kroger Bab, who has found this manuscript that this dictator, his cousin, her story, and kind of the rise, and kind of give this unseen insight into the rise of this dictator. But some other people want this now that word's getting out, and we start with him in a lot of peril, and kind of like having to make a choice between his life or this diary. In the past, as we're kind of getting in glimpses of Maya's story, we see that Arthur is quite a scary individual. You feel there's this real danger about him, and you fear for her, as you can see he's this ruthless man. And just as you think he's evil, you kind of have this bit where you think, has he betrayed her, or is he trying to save her? And you kind of are left not really knowing. And I like that they're making Arthur more of a complex character rather than, oh, he's just a bad man. I like that they're adding that kind of shade of complexity to his character. I think that's really good. I'm interested to see what's going to happen to Mia next issue. Kroger as well. I'm really interested to see. The person who was after the diary was kind of like, we're the good guys, but you don't know yet. You don't know. Is he? Like, you've got somebody hanging out of a building about to die, and you're like, oh, just hand me that bag, not thinking about saving them, and they're like, well, we're the good guys. Yeah, maybe not so much. The art, once again, is tremendous. Really enjoying the book. And there's some interesting stuff in the back, as we have a nice little bit looking at the colouring the book, as well as a nice little thing about insects and about how bees are disappearing. Some nice little stuff in the back as well. All in all, this is a really great experience. Really enjoying the book, and I'm going to give Invisible Republic issue number 3 4 stars out of 5. So moving right along now to Valiant Comics, and it is Divinity issue number 4. Once again, presentation wise, this is brilliant. It's a harder cover, and we have like this nice kind of thing here. Like I really like the whole presentation of it, and in the back, once again, we have like notes on the book and on the writing of it. So I thought all in all, presentation wise, it is excellent. Getting into the story, and I first off want to say I missed issue 3. For some reason it never came into my comic shop, so at the moment I'm looking around trying to get issue 3. But so yeah, I've missed a piece of the story. But I like the character of Abram in this, and kind of what's happened to him and his story I find interesting. But I'm just having a hard time kind of connecting to the story, and it's because like I always have a problem with godlike characters that have that much power. It's kind of like, then how is anybody going to stop them, And they find a way in here, which is kind of, it's interesting that his humanity becomes his weakness, and that's the way that they're able to take him down. And I thought that was an interesting thing that they did there. But I don't know, I'm just having a difficult time connecting with him. I did really like that you have like some of Unity are kind of arguing, should we lock him up, should we take him down, and that they're not just kind of blindly doing this without kind of expressing doubts that should they be doing this, that he hasn't done anything yet. And then we have Neville's argument of, well, you can't leave somebody this powerful out there to decide which day that they're going to destroy this or that. We've got to get him on ground level and take them in now, before they become a threat. So there's the two trains of thought, and I like that they're kind of mentioned, even though the one train wins out. Interested to see what they do this character in the future. I think this issue I connected with him a bit more because they went a lot more into his humanity, but I still find it a bit of a disconnect for me, and I'm going to give Divinity issue number 4 3 stars out of 5. So our final indie book, it is Ivar Timewalker issue number 5. I believe this is the variant cover, which I'm really glad they gave me the variant cover because I really like this cover. And this issue was really good. In the previous arc, we were introduced to Neela Seti and Ivar Timewalker. Now Ivar is a part, these 3 brothers. There's the Eternal Warrior, who's the younger brother. There's Armstrong, and then Ivar, he's the oldest brother. And Ivar finds these portals, and he has this compass, and he finds these portals that help him travel through time. And he stops Neela Seti from discovering time travel, and he saves her from these people from the future. And he tells her that she can't save her dad because her dad died, and she wants to use time travel to save her dad. And he tells her she can't do this, and then she finds out he lied. So she kind of dumps him in the past and steals his compass and travels and unsuccessfully tries to change. But time keeps thwarting her, time keeps stopping her from saving her dad. And then she meets a future version of herself who's really pissed at Ivar and has all the equipment and the stuff that they need to do, that the way that they're going to save their dad is they're going to break time. I really like this book. Neela Seti is really interesting as a character, and seeing like the future version, the present version of her is interesting, and you kind of wonder what has gone on there to make her into the way she becomes. But at the same time, it's kind of like, is she gonna pay the price to save her dad? Is one person worth for everybody in reality? And kind of like, when it's somebody you care for and somebody you love, I think you would go as far as you have to go to save that person. So I think it's a very interesting thing, and interested to see what her character does. Ivar, this issue, in the past he's come across as a bit arrogant and a bit unlikable, and he's certainly not trustworthy. But this issue is a lot more charming and quite funny in times, and so you can't help but start to warm to him. We have Eternal Warrior in here, who's one of my favourite Valiant characters, so I was happy. And I really liked the issue, we kind of start at one point, and then where we end is just before the start of the issue. And I like that, the way they use time to tell this tale and to kickstart this story arc, I think was brilliant. Really enjoyed this. This issue was a lot of fun. Really enjoying this series. And if the rest of this arc is going to be this strong, it's going to be Valiant's best book, because this was really good. I give Ivar Timewalker issue number 5 a definite 5 stars out of 5. So those are the indie books. Next up, we have DC and the end of Convergence. So just 2 DC books this week. As we finish off Convergence. So first up we have Justice Society of America, Convergence Justice Society of America, issue number 2. So we have on this old style team, we have Dr. Fate, we have Hawkman, we have the original Flash, and we have the original Green Lantern. And I really enjoyed the make with this team. These characters were really good. I enjoyed like the whole kind of thing of the issue is like we saw them during that year that they aged, and now that they've got the powers back, they've kind of got a bit younger, and this is kind of like their last kind of big blowout, their cast kind of big background, and they realise how lucky and fortunate they are to have lived this wonderful life, and how much they enjoy doing this. And so I really liked that whole thing, because I'm not old yet, but I'm getting there, kind of on the cusp of old, and I'm starting to have a few aches and pains, especially with like my job that I got now. It's a very physical job, and yeah, I kind of feel it a lot more than I would have 10 years ago even. So I kind of can start to empathize a little bit with that whole thing of that your best days may be getting to be more behind you than in front of you. That yet you've got a lot of good stuff to look forward to, but that your best days, they're in the past. And so I kind of empathized with these characters, and it was cool seeing them have their last moment. I also really liked that like they went out there and their first objective was to save the regular people that were getting attacked and destroyed by this robot. giant robot that's kind of been sent to take them out. Who's this other city's champion. And I really like that their first thing was to take care of the civilians. That was really cool. I like as well as they team up and it takes the 4 of them to defeat the bad guy. I thought that was really good. My only kind of niggle would be the ending of the book. I know all of these Convergence books kind of have the non-finish, and that is a bit of a curse, and some manage it better than others. But this isn't the only book to have done this, but it's the most recent. In that, like, at the end of the story, while you've got champions from other cities still going, and there's still threats to come, but they just kind of change to the regular gear and kind of will go for a coffee, and you're kind of like, well, I could understand if they were helping people rebuild stuff and that, but they just carry on like, oh yeah, we know we were threatened, we've been annihilated, and there's other cities out there that might still want to annihilate us, but we're just gonna have a coffee. Yeah, I thought it was a weak way to end it. I think the dialogue and the kind of where they were aiming for, I liked that they were kind of passing the torch on to the next generation, and this was their time. But I just felt it didn't kind of parry with the rest of the larger story that's happening here. For the back, in the back, we get a sneak peek of Superman Wonder Woman issue number 18. And I really liked this. We have the art, which is from an artist, Paulo Siqueira, if I pronounced that right. Artist I've not heard of before, but wow, I liked his art in here. Really good stuff. So yeah, basically, you know, all the Superman books are going to be running this story, the truth storyline. And basically what's happened is Lois Lane has told the world that Clark Kent is Superman. She's outed him. And so now everybody knows who he is. So there's no reason anymore to wear disguise or everything, because everybody knows who he is now. He can't hide. He can't have an ordinary life. But at the same time, all his enemies know where to find him as well. Somewhere along here, he's not as super as he was, and in this, he's trying to get to the sun so he can kind of recharge. And we have a real shocking moment with Wonder Woman. That kind of really is going to be interesting where that's going to go now. But yeah, I think this truth storyline really sounds like it's going to be an interesting story that's going to run through all the Superman books. But also, yeah, this issue, overall I enjoyed it, even though, yeah, main story, I had my little gripe with it. But I'm going to give Convergence, Justice Society of America, issue number 2, 4 stars out of 5. So next we have the final issue of Convergence, issue number 8, and the closure to the issue. And for the bulk of the issue, I enjoyed this. I think the art in here, there were some really great moments. There's a number of different artists on the book. But it never becomes a problem because you're so engrossed with the story. So basically Parallax has destroyed Deimos, and this has created a problem now that all of time is going to get destroyed because of Parallax acting rashly. So all the heroes are kind of having a quiz together of what can we do. We have the New 52 kind of see this world appear in their universe, and the only answer is Brainiac. They need Brainiac. He's the only one who can help them stop this, and Brainiac agrees to help them. And I kind of found that a bit of a problem. I thought the turnaround was a bit too quick, but the problem is that they've got is the original Crisis, that they need the Flash and Supergirl to go back to the original Crisis because they're important to that part, and with them being taken out, it's interfering with everything, so they have to go back. And of course Superman says he's going to go with them, and Parallax wants to go with them as well because he sees this is a way to atone for what he's done. So kind of like off they go. And then the other heroes, then it's kind of like the return of the multiverse, and there's some really great pages here with great images on them as we see the return of the multiverse of all these different worlds. and these different, you know, Earths, and then at the end, it's kind of like the only characters that are left are like the Earth 2 characters, because their world was destroyed, so they've not got a world to go back to. And this is where it becomes an Earth 2 story, as Telos creates for them a new Earth, a new planet, and they get to where they're going to get to be able to live out the rest of their days. And so yeah, like I say, at the end it was an Earth 2 story after all. I enjoyed the journey. I found the issue very engrossing, and that was a positive. Like I said, there's a lot of different artists on the book, but it was never an issue, because, you know, it worked and the story was good enough that got me going along. I don't quite understand what this means for the multiverse, and I'm looking forward to finding out, hopefully in the future, more of what that means. Does that mean that we could still have these alternate versions of the heroes, these original versions, that we could still have them in the future? Maybe, you know, follow them as well as follow the New 52. And also, you know, see, that has a lot of possibilities. So I'm quite excited by that, even though I don't quite understand it all yet. My gripe is, though, I felt Brainiac's turn was a bit too quickly, that he decided to help them. I thought that was a bit of a too quick of a turnaround. And also, I felt like at the end, I kind of felt a bit duped that in the end it wasn't an event, it was an Earth 2 story disguised as an event. I kind of felt a bit duped, and maybe I shouldn't, but that's just how I found it. And you felt, when you finished it, you felt like, oh, you know, rather than, oh, you know, and that, yeah. So yeah, all in all, I think I'm going to give Convergence issue number 8 3 stars out of 5. So those are my DC books. Next up, it's time to get into the Secret Wars. It's on some Marvel. Well, shiver my timbers and make mine Marvel. It's time for the Marvel reviews. We've got 7 books to review this week. First 3 are going to be non-Secret Wars books, and then we're going to be getting into the Secret Wars. So first up, we have Iron Fist, the Living Weapon, issue number 12. This is the final issue. One of the things that really attracted me to this book is that Kyle Andrews, I hope I pronounced that right, he does everything in this book. He draws it, he inks it, he colours it, he writes it. It's a total vision. And the thing fascinates me because, like, no matter how good of a communicator you are, everybody's going to interpret things in their own way. So you may say something exactly how you want it, but people are going to interpret that in their way, and what you get might not be totally what you envisioned. Now, sometimes it might be better and take it in a direction you hadn't thought. Other times it's going to be worse and you're going to be frustrated. But it's never going to be, you know, how you want it. So it's really interesting seeing a project that is one person's total vision. For 12 issues we've had this story. Now at times, yeah, the story's confused me, but they've always got me back on track, and this was a fantastic conclusion. I'd say the strongest issue left, and it left me hungry for more, and I'm so sad and disappointed that we've come to the end of the journey, and I'm not going to get more, because I really liked what this writer has done with Iron Fist. Not a character I know a great deal about, but I've really enjoyed the character's journey, and it's a shame that after this fantastic story and this fantastic journey, we're not going to get to see where it goes next. So maybe after Secret Wars, I don't know how well this is sold, but I would really enjoy this, and I would love to see Andrews come back, and even if he's just writing it and not doing the rest of it, it would be great to see him continue the adventures of Iron Fist. But like I say, this issue, it rounds things out beautifully. Last issue, kind of Iron Fist saved the day. So we got pretty much the fallout here, the immediate fallout, and the later on. It ties up a lot of loose ends that we had. So all the story kind of is tied up nicely. I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. And by the end, I was really sad that it was over, because I want more. But yeah, brilliant last issue, and I'm going to give Iron Fist, the Living Weapon, issue number 12, a definite 5 stars out of 5. We then have Black Widow, issue number 18. This was another really good book. It felt very much like a last issue, because I'm sure this is one of the books that is having a last days series of issues, but this felt like a last day, because it kind of winds up the story. We have Black Widow's showdown with Prophet, and to see what's going to happen there, and we have the fallout of that afterwards. And yeah, it felt very much like a last issue. If it was a last issue, I was very satisfied with it, and I felt it gave me closure on the story I'd been following. But I think there's last day, so it's a bit strange that the story's going to carry on after this, because like I say, this did feel such a good, perfect finishing point. I really like what Phil Noto again does with the art. I thought the art was again great, and Edmondson's writing of Natasha has been brilliant and made a really interesting character, and it winds down the series nicely. And I'm going to give Black Widow issue number 18 5 stars out of 5. So our final non-Secret Wars book, and it is All New Hawkeye issue number 3. Once again, art-wise, Ramon Perez. He has like the top main part of the story. We have Clint and Kate's story. Then down the bottom, you have young Clint with Barney. And you wouldn't think it was the same artist. It is so different. And yes, some of that's the colorist and how they've colored it. But at the same time, Perez is just an amazing artist. And going from somebody I wasn't that aware of, he's now somebody who I'm going to keep an eye on, because his art, just to be able to do such different things, is just amazing. And I'm in awe. Going into this book, it was like the Lemire writing that I was buying it for, because I really like Jeff Lemire as a writer. But coming out of it now, it's Perez as the artist that has wowed me, and that is why I'll continue to pick this book up. Story as well is pretty good. Last issue we had Clint and Kate, our two Hawkeyes. They were sent down to take down this weapon, and they find it's these kids, so they rescue the kids. They bring them to S.H.I.E.L.D., and this issue they find they're not going to be as safe with S.H.I.E.L.D. as they would have been with Hydra. So I liked the way that story went, and I like the kind of relationship between Clint and Katie. In the past, or even in the present, so often in a book when you have a male and female character, they fall in love and you have a relationship. And what I really like is that you've got a male and female characters in the book, and they're not in a relationship. They're kind of like brother and sister in a way, the way they are with each other. And I like that. I like that they're not romantically involved. And I hope that they keep it like that, because, like I say, I really, really, really like that dynamic between the two characters. The stuff as well with young Clint is really interesting, and how they tell that story of them sneaking in to watch the circus. I really like that. And how they were so in awe of it all was brilliant. All in all, this was a lot of fun, really great stuff, and I'm going to give Hawkeye issue number 3, we have 4 stars out of 5. So now we're into the Secret Wars books, and first up it's a Battleworld book, Inhumans, Attilan Rising, issue number 1, really nice cover there, I like that. We meet this resistance group in this called the Unheard Voice, or the Voice Unheard I think they're called, and basically they're going around causing chaos on Battleworld, helping different people, and they capture one of them, G-Man. He gets captured, and Doom tells Medusa, look, a lot of people want to be in your position and want your power. To keep that power, I want you to shut down this group. Use this person to find out what you need to know to shut them down. So Medusa's kind of like a back against the wall. She's got to do this or she's going to lose her job. And, you know, so she's trying to find out from G-Man all about this organization. And what she learns takes us to this nightclub or pub or bar called the Quiet Room. And the Quiet Room, I got a very much a Casablanca vibe, kind of in that film, how you have Rick's bar, and you have people that are on different sides, but they coexist in this bar. It's kind of like this strange thing that they go in the bar and they coexist, where outside the bar they're like at odds with each other, and kind of what you have here, and it's really interesting. I thought this was a very good setup. It introduces all the major players, introduces the story, and I think I thought this was a really satisfying first issue. Doesn't blow you away, but it gives you all what you need to know, and the art as well I really enjoyed. So Inhumans, Attilan Rising, issue number 1, gets a 4 out of 5 from me. So next up we have Where Monsters Dwell, issue number 1. Yeah, I picked this up without really knowing too deeply the ins and outs of the story, but I really liked it. We're introduced to this character here. I got the name, Carl, I think his name was Carl Kaufman, that was it, Carl Kaufman. And, you know, he's a bit of a scoundrel, and basically he agrees to take this woman called Kemi to give her this flight, and on the way to take her to this place, and she's a bit of a skitsy person. I don't know if is skitsy a word, I don't know if that's even the word I mean. She's a bit dippy, you know, she's a bit innocent, she's, you know, not kind of ways of the world, and he kind of thinks this is going to be an easy job to earn some cash. So they're going to, but then as they're flying, they kind of come across these dinosaurs, and they land, and it's all very bizarre what happens, and yeah, by the end of the issue, all kinds of craziness has happened. I really like this. The character of Carl is such a scoundrel that you kind of like want to see him get his comeuppance. But there's a certain charm to him as well in the way that he pulls things up. The character of Kemi is very interesting. There's definitely, as we see from the second half of the issue, there's more to her character than we first knew. The way they end it is brilliant. I laughed out loud when I saw the end. I thought that is just terrific. All in all, this was a very enjoyable book that I wasn't really expecting that much, and they knocked my socks off. So yeah, I'm going to give Where Monsters Dwell, issue number 1, 5 stars out of 5. So our penultimate Marvel book of this week is the Infinity Gauntlet, issue number 1. Another one I wasn't totally knowing what was going on here, but it seems to be this part of Battle World, and the art is very good in this book. But basically the world has been destroyed by bugs, and so we follow this family, and the mother of this family, she is a Nova, and that the Novas went to fight these bugs, but she promised to come back, but she never has. And kind of the family are going through their domestic problems when they get attacked by bugs, and all is looking bleak. And there's a point where you're kind of thinking, well, how does this all tie into the Infinity Gauntlet? I don't get it. And then we find an Infinity Gem, and that's when things really start to pick up. And by the end of the issue, you can see how things are beginning to link up. I'm very interested to see where this goes. Like I say, this wasn't like Where Monsters Dwell that blew my socks off. This didn't do that. But it sets up a very interesting story, and was a solid first chapter that kind of gives you all your characters, and then kind of starts pushing the story forward to where we're going. So yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Not what I was expecting, but I still really enjoyed it. And I give Infinity Gauntlet number 1 4 stars out of 5. So our final book this week from Marvel is Old Man Logan, issue number 1. I haven't read the original Old Man Logan yet. I've got it ready to read, but I haven't read it. I wanted to read it before this, but then I thought, well, so many of these Secret Wars books that have had names of like previous series, they're so removed from those series that it's almost kind of false advertising, if you will. But this one's probably more on the nose, as it has the character of Old Man Logan in it. And basically he's going around, you don't kind of know the gist, but he's trying to clean things up and be a hero and take out all these villains. And I thought that the beginning of the book does a really good job of explaining everything you need to know going into the story. The art, as you expect, from Sorrentino is just terrific. Really enjoyed the art in the book. The story itself pretty much starts out as Old Man Logan, you know, being a hero, but then he finds something that makes him have bigger questions. And like, look at that art there, that is just stunning. but he finds something that makes him have bigger questions. He finds a Ultron head, and it's going to be interesting to see where this takes him. But yeah, this was really good. Really enjoyed the issue. It doesn't blow you away, but it sets up the story. It was cool seeing Logan again. I've missed him so much. For a character like, because he was practically in everything, and you know, he needed a break or to be in less stuff, but I do really miss Logan. So it was cool seeing Logan again, and that was something that really helped the book. It didn't blow me away, but it sets the story up nicely, and I'm very intrigued to see where we're going to go from here. And I'm going to give Old Man Logan issue number 1 a definite 4 stars out of 5. So that's Marvel. Next up, we're going to find out what our pick of the week is. So, it is time for the pick of the week, and this week, the pick of the week is the Black Hood issue number 4. Is the pick of the week for the 4th week in May 2015. Going into this, this was a book that I was interested in. The story I'd liked thus far. It wasn't a book I was loving, because even in the comic shop, I was kind of contemplating, should I pick this up or should I leave it? And in the end, I decided, you know what, I'm going to buy it. And I'm glad I did, because it was bloody brilliant. Where like the first 2 issues are quite dark, the 3rd issue kind of there's a bit of light here and things are turning around, and this issue it comes full circle and it's brilliant. The basic gist of the story is Black Hood has been set up in real life. He's Greg Heitinger, and he's been set up, and so he's trying to uncover who set him up, and it's this drug lord called the Connection, but they don't know who he really is. So he's been beating up like drug dealers, working his way up to get the next name, so until he can get to the people that know who the Connection is. Unfortunately, he takes on these 2 bad guys at a cemetery, and they unmask him, and they know who he is now. He manages to kill the one, but the police turn up before he can get rid of the other. So now he gets away, but now he is this. If this criminal, you know, because some of the police are crooked, he gets taken in and he speaks to his lawyer, he's going to tell the Connection who the Black Hood is, and he's not going to be safe. So he needs to take out this guy, or find out who the Connection is, and take him out before this guy can speak to his lawyer. So he calls in a favour from his partner to kind of like make sure we hold, because they can hold him for 6 hours before they charge him. So he gets to see if he can pull that off, and that'll buy him 6 hours. So he's got 6 hours in with each time to find out who the Connection is and take him out. And so you get this whole kind of franticness about the issue, and this sense of urgency, because you know there's this time limit. Throw into the mix then his speech therapist who catches up with him, and he knows he's not going to shake her, so he gives the truth that he's the Black Hood, because he needs her help as well. I really love this. The art is tremendous. The art is just really tremendous. It really gets across the dark tone. It helps that a lot of it's at night, but yeah, it gets the dark tone of the book across. I love that a lot of the book is told as internal monologue, so you really get inside this character's head, which is really cool. It's just a real joy, this issue, and where it ends up, I'm really excited for the next issue to see where we're going to go now. They've took this book in unexpected directions. I've really enjoyed it, and this issue took the book from something I was interested in to a must read. So for the 4th week of May 2015, my pick of the week is the Black Hood issue number 4. So we are for the final part of my video, as we have the company of the week. Not as many books this week. Is that going to make a difference? So for those of you who may not have watched my video for what company of the week is, each week I take, for example, the indie books that I've read. I add the scores together, divide by the number of books the indie books that are, and that gives me an average score. I do the same for Marvel and DC. We then look at it together and see which company got the better average score, and that makes them Company of the Week. So this week in third place, we got 2 books from them, but it wasn't lucky. Is DC in third place with the average rating of 3.5. In second place, 4 books this week with average rating of 4.2. It is Indies. So the Company of the Week for the 4th week of May 2015 are Marvel Comics, as they had an average rating of 4.4, and they had the most books. They had, I think it was 7 books. So they had more books than DC and the Indies combined, but yet they still had a better average rating. So good week for Marvel. Good week indeed. I've got some other books that I've got that I've got to read. I finishing off my Nova collection, so we've got issue 27. We then have issue 29. We have issue number 30. And issue 31, the final issue. I wanted to review this one here, but I want to read all of these first, so it was kind of like, do my review tomorrow and read them all today, or do the review today and do this review another time. So I opted for the latter. Also, I managed to get Batman Detective Comics issue number 38, and I also came in the post today issue number 40, as I'm getting back onto Detective Comics. So I've got those to keep me out of mischief until my comics come out. I think that's pretty much everything I've got to say. I will be back on New Comic Book Day with a whole video, and then hopefully, I don't know what days I'm working yet, so I can't kind of put a day on when I'm going to be doing my review video, but it'll be probably over some point over the weekend. There'll be a review video. So yeah, all in all, thank you very much for watching my video. I greatly appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, please give me those beautiful thumbs up so I know that you've enjoyed what I do. I've been Jason. These have been my comic book reviews. Bye for now.